but I guess I'd just be left twiddling my thumbs and waiting for it to happen. I guess, well, there's always research to be done and stuff and family time to enjoy, but I really do enjoy the financial markets. They're a lot of fun. All right. Let's put WEBULL up there. There we go. Little quick check-in on the pre-market here for AMC, see how they're doing. Sort of trading sideways since yesterday, but look at that. Right across the bottom, about 57, almost 58 bucks, 57.90 that we're looking at right now. And the volumes from yesterday, comparable to the volumes that we had the day before. Looks like they might be tapering off a little bit, but when we look at the daily chart. Hey, Ralph. What's EIP? That is the Ethereum Improvement Plan. So give me 1 second here and I'll bring that up for you. There we go. So the EIP is the London hard fork, EIP 1559, the London hard fork for the Ethereum platform. And what it does is it changes the way that the auctions are done for Ethereum as they currently stand. I'm getting off topic here for AMC. I'll come right back to Ethereum. We'll do that the very next thing since we have some time here before the market opens. So let's see if I can adjust my drawing a little bit for AMC. There we go. It looks like right now we're still continuing this narrowing, and we'll see which way we end up breaking out. But so far yesterday, we kind of tapped that and then dropped back down. So we still have some wiggle room in here to see if this does break out. If we have the bears dropping us to the downside, the bulls to the upside, and really as long as the apes continue to hold out, you know, we could really see that that short squeeze that we keep hearing about. We could see that take place with AMC. The volume is still pretty strong overall compared to what it was leading up to this ramp up in price that we have. All right, so here we'll bring up Ethereum for you, Ralph. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I thought I had on my list there. I mean, I know I do, but it's easier if I go here. All right, so Ethereum right now currently rocking right at just under $2,000, and so Ralph, when you look at the coin market cap that you see here, our coinmarketcap.com, if you go there and if you click on Ethereum, there's other ways to find this, but this is nice because you get all sorts of information, and you can just read across the top for any particular cryptocurrency that you're looking for. So you get the overview. It'll show you its recent price action, and there's 3 different views for that. You can see the markets that it traded on. You can see the historical data, the different wallets that are available, the news surrounding Ethereum, or whatever cryptocurrency it is that you're looking for. CoinMarketCap is just a wonderful place for that. So in my video that I have coming out today for Ethereum in 1559, if you go here, you can see that it's launching to the testnet. And so basically the London hard fork, right now they're testing it for its stability and for its security to make sure that it functions as they intend it to function, as long as everything is going smoothly for that. And as far as I know, from everything that I can tell right now, it's been a smooth transition into the testnet. And after this, I believe that they send it, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like G-O-E-R-L-I. So the Gorelli testnet is the next one. And then after that, I believe is the live one that comes out in July. So basically Ethereum, as it works now with its transactions and what it takes to decide on those gas fees in order to perform those transactions, that's going to change. And right here's just a little bit of a synopsis that we have for what it says in this article. But you can read through it, and they have different links in this article as well that tell us about those changes and about what is in it. And there's a ton of resources out there for Ethereum and what it does and all the changes that we have. So it's highly anticipated because it changes there you go, the transaction fee calculation mechanism. And let me see, they have it down here. There we go. It's this paragraph. This is the one that we're looking for. The EIP 1559 will change the current fee auction mechanism by eliminating the price auction. So basically, the change is going to stabilize the prices, so that way they're a little bit more predictable versus what they used to be. And so there will be a more predictable base fee. And then if you want the transaction to go through a little bit faster, that's where the tip comes in. So that's just a little bit about what the London hard fork is about. And it also includes the base fee burn. And this is actually pretty cool here too. Oh, that's not the part I'm looking for. I apologize. I want, maybe I passed it already. All right, I think it's called Watch the Burn. Yeah, watchtheburn.com. Well, Ralph, I think that this is an important change. The base fee burn, I think, is going to be huge. So just look here. If you go to watchtheburn.com, this shows you on the Ropsten testnet. You can see that right here. That's the one that it's on. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Look how much Ethereum or Ether has been burned in these transactions. 860 as of right now, and this is since it's gone live today. This is how much Ether has been burned on Ethereum. And when you go to United States dollars to look at that, that's almost $1.7 million worth of Ether. It's burned, it's gone. So that's where the deflationary aspect comes in. And it doesn't mean that it's overall deflationary, because that base fee burn has to outweigh the amount of rewards that go out. And when you look down here, this tells you in more real time. So this is just since I've visited the page this time. If you refresh the page, it'll switch this. It doesn't show you the total. It shows you, hey, since you've come to this page, this is how much has been burned away. And then what I have highlighted down here is how much has been rewarded just since we've been on this web page. So this would be across the proof of work, the miners that we have for Ethereum. So I think that this is a part of the bull run that we have for Ethereum, but I don't think it makes up everything about it. Something else that we want to pay attention to is that the rewards, when we move into Ethereum 2.0, and as that rolls out through proof of stake instead of proof of work, and as we get into the sharding, it's going to be more scalability. So we're going to have higher transaction throughput. So that means more transactions per second. Sometimes up to like 100,000 transactions per second is like one of the best case scenarios that we have right now. And so that would just be incredible scalability. But then more so, right now there's about a 4% inflation rate, annual inflation rate on Ethereum, and that's going to drop down to like 0.5% annual inflation rate. And like I said, with the base fee burns, if that's enough to burn away some of that inflation rate, then we get even less of it. And so those are things that can cause Ethereum's price to go up over time. And then something else that we don't want to miss out on is that the proof of work miners. Good morning, Jerry. Something that happens with the miners is that they spend a lot of money on electricity to power their mining gear that they have. And in order to cover that, then they have to sell off their Ether. And by dumping that Ether, like by selling it, it causes selling pressure, and it pushes down the price. So that's downward pressure that when we switch away from proof of work is going to allow that to it'll take off that selling pressure. It'll allow us to actually have to allow the price to increase. So we have a bunch of different reasons why there's bullish cases why we think that Ethereum is going to go up in price from where it's at now as we progress through 2022, 2023, possibly into 2024, until we have the full rollout, switching over from the proof of work over to proof of stake as a consensus algorithm, along with the introduction of sharding for scalability while maintaining the security of the Ethereum network. So it's getting close to market open. So no problem, Ralph. Thank you very much for asking. So I'm going to move back over to WEBULL here for some of the stock stuff. And then we can talk about crypto more, but we have less than 2 minutes here until the market opens. And we'll just take a look at what they're reporting some of the top gainers are. Marin Software, 76%. Wow. MRIN. Let's see what's going on there. There you go. Oh, LLY. I can't think of the company's name right now, but they're like a $200 billion market cap company that had, when I looked in the pre-market, like 7% upside because of their FDA approval. So that's a really cool catalyst, something that that for companies with larger market caps like that, you don't see 7% jumps very often. All right, so this MRIN. So this is Marin Software, digital manufacturer, marketing software, social. Okay. So advertisement, it sounds sort of like software as a service. So high margin, most likely. Ah, that's right. Instacart ad integration. Excellent. So they should be pumping out a whole lot more revenue, and that's probably why we're seeing the jump here. I don't know if we have any analyst estimates covering this one. No analyst estimates covering this one. Maybe on Tip Ranks, we took a look over there, but if you look at the recent price action, sort of barcoding for a little while there before we finally, up to yesterday, this is the daily chart, we had that jump, and when we go down to intraday, there it is. Look at that in the after hours yesterday. We could see a lot of profit taking right off the start before we find out more about where this price action's going. Let's go to AMC for market open. If we break out of this little sideways trade that we had going. All right, the market's open. There we go. And let's actually go down from 30 minutes. Let's go down to the 1 minute. I don't often go down to such a small time frame, but I think it's worthwhile to see. Big drop right at the beginning, just before market open, and now sort of substantial. We got to zoom out for the 1 minute to see more of what's going on. So we actually have an engulfing candle forming right now, so that could totally just wipe this out and reverse anything that we saw with that profit taking leading up to the market open. So we'll see how this plays out. The 1 minute chart is so hard to watch. Sometimes the level 2 can give you a little bit more indicator of which way things are going to go. There is a decent amount of buy side pressure, but there's the sell side pressure building. It's jumping so fast here, it's going to be hard to find where those price walls are. Look at that. There it is. We have room all the way down to about 57.82. It looks like that candle almost making it there before moving to the next one. Let's go up to the 5 minute. There we go. A little bit less whippy from what we have. Still pretty much wiping out this candle that we had before. And a lot of times these long wicks with that big drop right off the beginning, they'll shake people out of trades. They'll like fire off the stop losses for people who would take long positions and totally like just cause them to have a loss for that trade, possibly for the day if it's the only one that they were doing. We'll see if this bottom holds right at around 57.81. There, that shook a few more people out, I'm sure. What else do we have moving? Luminar Technologies up almost 8%. I wonder if we have any news or if it's just there we go. Just a positive catalyst that we have for EV and this being a LiDAR play, those things in general. Wow. We got anything going on the daily chart here? All right, we have a gap up, not over resistance, but still, that's significantly up. There's probably some sort of news catalyst for it. All right. So 2 hours ago, reiterates profitability liquidity targets, Volvo's the X90 to include LiDAR as standard equipment next year. So I wonder if Volvo is choosing Luminar to be their LiDAR supplier, because if so, that would be great for Luminar to have those orders come in to be standardized on next generation. Like, oh yeah, there you go. Very top one by Reuters 23 minutes ago. Excellent. So let's look at Luminar and see where its price is sitting right now. Okay, sort of in between on the daily chart. So going down to smaller time frames might show us a little bit more. We actually have a decent amount of room here. Where are we at? Probably the best line of resistance that we have is this double top. That'd be another, that's like 10% up from where it currently sits right now, up to that top. And I don't know that if we'll see that, considering that it's already up over 5% from, or I'm sorry, over 4%, now over 6% from yesterday's close. Probably be more in a soft resist area, sort of like the $25 marker. So, and some of that would depend on the overall market bias. It is nice that we have this 200-day moving average, positive slope, and we have a turnaround. We actually have a switch from a negative slope to a positive slope with the 50-day simple moving average crossing upward this way. So we could actually continue this bullish trend that we see going on with Luminar. Orphazine, I believe the news yesterday coming out was that Goldman Sachs said that they actually took a stake in Orphazine. And so that helped them out with their little green candle that they had, and why you see that volume spike yesterday. And they're actually trading over that 50 period moving average that we have, where we at just about 15% up from yesterday's close. What else we got here for solar? Here, we'll check out how Bitcoin's doing now that we're into the open a little bit. I'll zoom out so we can see more of it. It is crazy just how volatile we have, how volatile cryptocurrencies are. The price is nothing exciting right now, other than the fact that it quickly recovered back up over 30,000. Finding such good support in there should be a lot of confirmation for traders or investors looking to take long positions, especially if they're bullish about Bitcoin's future, because it just seems as though we can't crack that 28.8 number. You know, and before that, where were we at over here on this one? Yeah, so 29.2. But if we go out a little bit farther and back over this way, that low candle that we have was 28.825. This one, 28.805. So like I said, $28,800 we'll just call where we're finding some really significant support. Even if you want to call it like 29,000 would be the significant support, and that would just be, you know, just barely tagging underneath that. Just incredible for Bitcoin. Next would be around that 32,000 mark that we would have. So depending on how you vision it long term, or just short term swing trade, or that you're trying to play some sort of range trade on it or something, you definitely have a lot of opportunity when you look at Bitcoin, and you're going to see similar things with other cryptocurrencies as well. Let me catch up with the chat here. Nice. Good morning, Jerry. I think I greeted you, but just to be sure, good morning. And no problem for answering your questions, Ralph. Hello, Taco. There you go. I'm just trying to make sure I'm reading your name right. Triple revoked, little volume equals little manipulation. Hedges are afraid to create margin calls. Yeah. Getting margin called is not good for anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a retail investor. I guess it's even worse if you're a hedge fund, because you're controlling a lot of big money, and sometimes big money goes with big power, and you know, you don't want to make the wrong people angry. So let me see here. We got skills. I drew this line on here before, showing this little return in price that it has, that we could find some support going along these lines. And when you look at today's low price and today's open that we have for this candle, it's sitting just so ever so delicately on this 200-day simple moving average that I have on here at 1969. And what's that? We're up over 4% from yesterday. And I think earnings were something that we're talking about. At least the esports industry projected to be the fastest growing segment of the global gambling sector. Absolutely awesome. So that was up to 1 day ago. I have to look and see when their earnings are supposed to come out. I mentioned before that they're going to be pretty volatile, and they're pretty well subject to the popularity of the games that are on their platform. And so we're going to have to keep an eye on that we could see that they have lulls where games were super popular for a while, but then they kind of die off until the next thing comes along. And that's a hard formula that there's not really any one single indicator that says just how successful some game's going to be. Some people know how to get different elements in that sort of help to solidify the popularity of the game, but there's still no way to predict which ones are going to be absolutely explosive. And if skills can get that, especially where the NFL is concerned, and other businesses decide to partner up and follow suit, and skills benefits from that, then we could be really in shape with them going forward. Open SoFi, Taco, I think you don't have it in caps, so I'm just going to go with Open Door Technology, since that is one of the tickers and one of the stocks that I follow. There we go. All right. So they haven't had as strong of a run as some of the other growth stocks that we've seen since they bottomed out. They've had quite a trip to the bottom, going down to 13.44 per share. May 13th, pretty important day for the turnaround for markets before we started seeing some of that downward pressure come off of them, and we see this bubble with a lot of those high growth plays as well. And then they settle down a little bit, and then they continue that linear climb upward. We saw that with Skills, and here we are with Open Door Technologies, and we see it again. The nice thing yesterday versus today is that we actually are crossing over this 50 period that was resistance yesterday and now could act as support today. So that's an important change for us. And analyst estimates on this one, we are sitting just above the low analyst estimate. And out of the 7 analysts covering this, up to 31.83, so almost $32 per share. What do we got? So 7 analysts. So 2 of them say hold, 2 say buy, and then looks like 3 others call it a strong buy. This is one that really market penetration and like getting into just more markets around the United States is really going to help them. And one of the issues that they had was their inventory, that they just didn't have enough offerings on their platform for selling homes and flipping homes. Going into coming out of 2020, I should say, they had really weak numbers to offer, but they've slowly been building back since then, and they're looking for a strong 2021 going forward. And so that was the reason why I believe some of their estimates got their price targets got downgraded over time. So I am bullish on this one, and I think that we have decent opportunities, and it is worth looking at their investor presentation. And of course, they're going to try and put their best foot forward, and they're going to make their own bullish case for why they think that their business model does work. It's a matter of turning it profitable, and they do have Zillow to go up against. And so Zillow calls themselves the top of the funnel for online real estate, that they get people into looking at the homes, but they're working down through that funnel to the point where they're actually more involved with where the actual buying and selling part of the homes comes in. And that's sort of where Open Door Technologies comes in. And that's some pretty stiff competition. Zillow's pretty huge. I know that a lot of people have heard of Zillow. My friends talk about Zillow who don't do anything with finances really. Open Door Technologies, I'm sure if I mentioned them, they wouldn't know who I was talking about. And so missing out of that notoriety could be something that over time they need to build that for themselves. And certainly if their service is superior, and if their offerings that they have that really do facilitate the buying and selling of homes, which I had to refinance 1 or 2 summers ago, and it was just it was an awful experience, and it took a really long time. And anything they can do to smooth out the transacting of real estate and making it a whole lot less complicated, getting people their money sooner who are selling homes, those are all really cool things for Open Door Technologies. And I believe this is also one that ARK Invest has done a lot of research into, and that they continue to buy more and more shares of. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Who else we got here? SoFi. So thank you, Taco. Oh, Tesla, did Tesla make it back up over 700 yet? I think in the pre-market, I think the last I looked, they were sitting at like, let me think, 674, I think is what I saw them at. All right, sorry, I looked at this, and since I drew it, I think this day didn't happen, since I drew this for SoFi, but that does show us, I'll get rid of these drawings here. There we go. It does show us a little bit better of a trajectory that we have along this bottom. So it was too steep according to what was there. Actually, maybe I'll just put that there for right now. And then I can adjust. There we go. Maybe like right there or so, that we're looking for that sort of support that we have on SoFi. Analyst estimates, we still have not quite 20% upside from where we sit to that low analyst estimate. There's only 2 out there. So from $25 to $30, and we're currently sitting below 22. Not bad. Going to the average analyst estimate, looks like we have room for about $5. So what would that be? Like 25-ish, just under, I say 20% might be a little bit better. So 20 to 25% to that middle, and then $9 up to there. So just shy we'll call it 40% upside to the high analyst estimate. Check out the level 2 over here. We have support right at $21. A lot of support coming in, not a lot of sell side pressure at all for this this view that we can see. So we could actually have some decent room if we get a few more buyers coming in the level 2 here. What do we got? Okay, up a little bit from yesterday's close, not so bad. Long term, I'm not sure on SoFi. It's just one that I'd have to go off the analyst estimates for right now, that we are sitting pretty well in comparison to what they are. I just haven't looked into the fundamentals of SoFi. I don't know what sort of multiple they're trading at, how much they were valued at. Were they IPOE? Was that what they were before? Yeah, that's what they were. Yeah, so I can do a little bit of reading and find out a little bit more of what we know and see how they're trading. Their chart looks half decent right now. You know, we could be in for some sort of breakout to the upside. It is good that we're trading above this moving average. It doesn't look like we have enough for that 200-day to come in here yet. We could modify it to see that. We'll just have to watch the price action play out over time. Where's this low? There you go, 513, May 13th as the low. And then we've had positive price action from there. Who else we got? Beam. There you go. Oh yeah, how cool! I always love it when patterns tend to play out. So we see a little bit of a flag pattern here, a bullish flag, and looks like this little cross that we have between this low average, I'm sorry, fast average and slow average didn't really do much for it. And that's probably because, again, there's our May 13th date, and then we got a lot of buying pressure coming back in. So really, the moving averages, I don't think are going to have as much of an impact on stocks like these, but it is cool that we see it sort of trade sideways for a while before breaking out again. And the little flagpole, if you want to call it this one right here, that we have should be about the same height as the breakout that we have that you see over here as well. And that would be indicative of the flag pattern playing out. And it looked like it played out pretty well. Analyst estimates for the 12-month price targets, we are trading a little bit rich for that, which could mean that just a lot of the fundamental value was already priced into this. So we got about 5% to go to this average analyst estimate, and we have 6 analysts covering it. And so 3 say hold, 1 says no. What do we got? 6. Yeah, okay. So 2 say to buy it, and then 1 says that it's a strong buy. We have about a 25% upside to that high analyst estimate. We got a decent price wall building right at about $40.37. So that would give us room for about 50 cents more just on today. And I believe, okay, yeah. Envision Solar, designs, manufacturers, various verticals such as, okay, excellent. So they could most definitely be moving along with some of the EVs and renewable energies that have finally come back to some strength recently. If this does happen to say fairly small, that could actually give us on good volume, if the volume should happen to keep up, which we'll have to see how this plays out throughout the day. That could give us room for a little bit more upside. It has been on quite a tear recently, so if it takes some time to rest, if this wasn't enough of a resting period, we could most definitely see that. It is getting a little bit rich compared to the analyst estimates, at least for the 12-month price targets. And we'll see how they stand to benefit from the Biden infrastructure plan that we have that's continuously being worked on. Hopefully we know a lot more by late Q3 or early Q4 of this year. Okay. Torch is, I'm guessing Torch, if it's moving, it's probably moving a little bit to the upside, considering the sell-off. Let's take a look at Tesla first. All right. Decent little gap up that we have. Still definitely bullish on the slow-moving average here, the 200-period moving average, the 50. Still trending downward. We still have that duck's head that my daughter talked about when we look at Tesla here. There we are. I'm just looking at some of the prices. Looks like we might have room up to that $700 mark. I'm not saying that we'll get there today, but it's certainly something that that we could see happening. And it's nice to see these bottoms that we have here trending upward. that this previous high that we have here got broken, and then it's a matter of taking off, just little peak by peak after that. And 700 is going to be a psychological resist that either it's not worth 700 or it's worth 700. Would be something that we want to look at when it comes to the trading. We have wow, okay, that might melt away here soon. 679, it looks like. There it goes, melted. Buy side pressure coming in right around. Quick jumping. It looks like around 678 if I'm reading it correctly. And let's look intraday on Tesla. Okay, well, it's got great volume compared to the volume that we had yesterday. So price follows volume, or volume follows price, however you want to say it. We actually had a really nice pennant formation coming off of Tesla leading into the market close, and then we have another gap up today. So if you were looking at that yesterday and you were doing this as a trade rather than as a long-term investment, I mean, people who did that might be up some good money today. And maybe they chose to exit it. Maybe they're going to hold on for a little bit longer, but that's a rather decent price jump. Tesla being the leader right now in EVs in the United States, having like 70% of the market share, which will naturally decline over time. It's also in a growing market, though. So even though the market share might shrink a little bit due to competition, or might even shrink a lot due to the competition, they should still be able to continue to produce and sell more EVs as they build out and as the infrastructure builds out. And really, a lot of that ramp up period that they have of just growing their business and growing the footprint of their different factories, the Berlin factory, and then there's also one that's going to be down in Texas. I'm not sure I think that one's 2022. I'd have to go back and look at the dates on that. But as they get built and as they that's the expense there, and then being actual to build the vehicles and deliver them and actually make those sales, they'll start benefiting from that more and more over time. And they should be a lot less reliant on the tax credits that have kind of kept them afloat so far. And, that's a lot where the bear case comes in. If it wasn't for the tax credits and if it wasn't for the sale of Bitcoin, that Tesla would be underwater. They're still growing, and still definitely very bullish on Tesla, that between the EVs that they have and where they're at with their own supercharging network that they have, and also their power walls, solar panels, they stand to benefit in very huge ways. And I guess I should really mention with their EVs and autonomous driving and the development on that, data really is king there. And Tesla just has so many miles and just, I don't even know, it's got to be beyond even petabytes or even into the exabytes by this time of information collected for their AI, for their self-driving technologies. It's just going to be hard for other companies to catch up, because the only way that they can gather that is by putting in more of the miles and having more of that data collected and having their machines go through and do the learning that it takes. That's something that's going to keep Tesla, in my opinion, on EVs. And where autonomous driving is concerned, that's something that's going to keep them in the lead for quite a while. All right. So it'll be neat to watch that play out. Okay, we got PLTR in 2025, torch on the move. Okay. Angelito, let's get to Palantir. All right, so I drew some lines on here yesterday just to see how the prices are moving. Where are we at? So 26.45. Honestly, as a 2025 number, I haven't played it out that far. I intend on doing a discounted cash flow on Palantir to see how they should be performing by then. Really, I go off the idea that their business is growing and that they have further market adoption. And they're, again, because data is king, they have a ton of data, and they really are preferred by governments, so that they're a sticky technology. They lowered the cost for entry, and watching them build out over time is something that's going to be a huge push for them, and something that's going to just keep on adding to their top line, and it should translate to their bottom line. Hopefully, it ends up being a considerable margin for them going forward. I mean, analyst estimates, I talk about this a lot, and right now you can definitely tell that it is trading rich according to the 12-month price targets that we have. And so that would take us into 2022, so we'd still have 3 more years of building. And right now, where they're at with their company, that could be about right. I don't expect to see large gains going for them right now, but we could look into and see what sort of revenue that they expect going forward from here, and they should gain substantially over time with further and further adoption. And something that could mitigate that would be competition from other data companies that would use AI in order to help other businesses improve their performance and optimize what they do. And that min-maxing or that optimization that you would have, that's driven by statistics. I mean, people who have used Palantir's technologies, they tend to really favor them. And so by letting companies use that and kind of get a feel for it and see how it can really benefit their companies, I think was a great switch by Palantir. And I think it is doing a lot to help support the current prices that we're seeing, that we're seeing a lot of the forward fundamental value already being priced in. And we will be held back by the employee options that are out there that can be dumped on the market over time, that if people decide to sell what they have a right to sell because they're employees, and that's one of the ways that they've been compensated, and they want the cash from that compensation, then that's a definite risk that you should pay attention to for Palantir, because they can be a great company with a wonderful business that doesn't care at all about their shareholders. And so that's something that you want to look for any company. I'm not saying that's true for Palantir, but definitely NNDM is still my number one case, because there's so many shareholders that absolutely love NNDM, and they just keep on doing capital raise after capital raise after they said that they have plenty of money, that they're in an excellent financial position. Then the price gets a little bit rich, and then they can do a capital raise and drop the share price, and that tends after a while to wear on investors, and they tend not to like that. So for Palantir, for them, it's not so much the capital raises as much as the employee incentives that are being given through options in their company that we have to look out for. Yeah, let's look intraday on Palantir here. There we are. I'd have to go back and look through my trading history that I have on Palantir, but I believe I sold a position at one point in time when it started getting a little bit rich before. I'll come back to that in just a sec. I want to look at the daily chart. Yeah, when this spike happened, I was like, wow, that's a lot really fast for Palantir. So I dumped some of my shares that I had, and I watched it come down, and then I dollar cost averaged back into a position over time as we saw this volatility with the price action, this sell-off that we had leading up to about the middle of May. All right, back to intraday. Yeah, look at that. Not the cleanest flag formation that we have, but we do see that little trailing off that we had before the next pop up, and then it did a little bit of run almost back to this previous high that I had into the market close yesterday, and then we see a little bit more of that bullish action today. Let's see how the markets are doing. I'll expand this for everyone. There we go. That makes sense. NASDAQ, so tech stocks being up nicely following that. Dow Jones up considerably from where at least within the day, intraday for the Dow Jones, not so bad. S&P sort of going sideways a little bit on us. All right. Let's look down to the 5-minute chart for Palantir, see if we can see a little bit more. Okay, so looking at this one, it looks like we had some profit taking as the market opened, and it looks like right now we're getting sort of this 50-period moving average as a little bit of resistance for us. So that currently sitting at 26.52 could be where we'll find that result or that resistance come in. And we have, where's our buy side pressure really coming in? 26.27. Lots of bids around 26.48. You can see a substantial build right there that it should shove us back up just a little bit. And those bottoms, so right now they are increasing, but we do have sort of a bearish pennant coming up that we could see a little bit more of a drop, at least in the short term. I remember this is the 5-minute chart for Palantir. So for people who are looking at this in a short-term view that are trying to capitalize on this, you could wait to see how it plays out. If we zoom out a little bit more, if you tried to short this one from where it's at right now, you'd be shorting right into support on the price. And that could be something that could be, mitigating to your possibilities for making any sort of profit off of taking a short position intraday on Palantir. And really, you don't want to do that. You want to see that there would be no floor on it, so that way it has room just to drop out. And even if we go back to actual regular trading day prices, 26.30 might be about as far as you can see this thing fall. And depending on the quantity of shares that you buy and how much of a percent move you would need in order to see the sort of gains that you want, and the risk to reward that you would stand to make, there's a lot of things that would determine whether or not you would take that. This could come back up off this support, and then it could go sideways for the day if we're going to continue to resist here, have just a small range going into it, or depending on the markets, we could see it actually break this resistance here and continue upward. Let me see what else we got here. I'd like to see Palantir 27. Palantir is definitely a long-term hold for me, Taco. I think it's got a great business model, and I think that they made some necessary changes in order to ensure that they actually have more businesses buying in. Because I remember reading it initially with the high upfront charge that they had in order to, that really only big businesses could afford it. Only like the top businesses in the world could afford it. And since they've changed that to be more affordable for small businesses, that to me changed my mind on Palantir. It made me go from questioning whether or not it was just a momentum play and sounded really cool to actually being something that was viable. And that's what made me switch over from sort of just trading it over to being more of a long-term investor on it. All right, what else we got here? In February, join market pins fundamental. There you go. All right, so Pinterest, the trouble that they had was their guidance going forward throughout the rest of 2021, that they didn't know how much growth that they would see coming out of this, or if it would be as strong a growth for what they saw in 2020. And so that was viewed as somewhat negative, and that also helped it join a lot of that tech sell-off that we saw coming from their earnings into the end of Q1 2021. But this is such a similar chart to everything else that we've seen. Let's go to the analyst estimates. So out of 30 analysts, that's a lot covering this. The average of 84.31. I always like to look through the middle, especially when we have so many people covering it. So if we're looking at the low analyst estimate, we have a long way to fall. What, $33 out of 75, so 37. I mean, that's like a 45% drop from where it currently sits down to that low. I don't know that we would see that, and I wish that they gave us more of a distribution so that we could see just how these analyst estimates are working out. 10 people say to hold it, and then what do we got here? Like 13 or so say to go ahead and buy it, and then 20%, so like 6 people call it a strong buy, somewhere around in there. So 84 is $9 up from where it currently sits, so we definitely have over 10% upside to there. High analyst estimate, $102. Really, it depends on what sort of growth we see coming out of Pinterest. If we end up, if they upgrade their guidance, improve their guidance for their outlook for the rest of 2021, end of year 2021, we could see a lot of strong price movement coming out of this to the upside. If it's less than they expected, we could see a bit of a drop in it. So really, I would pay attention when the next time their earnings come out. So Q2 closes the end of this month, so June 30th, and then they should report within a few weeks of that, because I think that they were early on for reporting for Q1. So probably maybe the first 3 weeks in July, they should report somewhere in there. And then we can see what their guidance says. If they give us further downgraded guidance that they're seeing less and less action, then, well, we know to expect less from them price-wise. And that should also be downgrades in their price targets over the next 12 months. If they increase their guidance that it's going to be even better performance, more users, more revenue coming in for them, then of course they would be adjusted upward. So those are the things that I would pay attention to for Pinterest. As of right now, decent sell side pressure. We're still up from yesterday though, so we're up about 0.5% from where we were at yesterday. And then what does that look like? Yeah, we're sitting pretty much at resistance, right at like $75 or $76 per share. So that's the line to beat if we're looking for bullish behavior coming out of Pinterest. So it could fail, it could settle a little bit. This is a long run. Like the bulls are going to be tired after running like that, and that's really excellent price recovery from where they bottomed out before. So if it settles back down, if it fails to break resistance, I would call that a perfectly natural and expected failure in the short term from where it's at right now. So while you're watching that, I would expect that to happen unless they have some big news catalyst, or if maybe there's some substantial sector growth, like some related company, maybe Etsy, for example, would come in and be like, yo, we changed our minds. Check this out. Look what's happening. Some news to make it break through that resistance. I think that's what it would take, would be a strong positive catalyst to keep the bulls running just a little bit harder for a little bit longer. GHVI Matterport. There we go. All right, so looking at GHVI, I was able to load up on GHVI under 13, under 12, and I think I may have gotten just a few shares when it was under $11. In my mind, this was easily a $13 per share company. And so when it was below 13, that's sort of when I jumped on it. I did not want to pay these prices that we saw back here for this deal. I believe that is the end of this month that they're supposed to, Matterport's supposed to close their deal with GHVI. So if enough holders vote for the merger to take place, then we should see the ticker symbol switch from GHVI to Matterport, which, let's see if they tell us in the news just real quick what they're supposed to be. It's M. You guys can help me out in the comments. I would appreciate it. Is it MTTR? Is that what they're going to be? I forget the ticker symbol. I can look it up. If you go into their SEC filings and look up the date of their special meeting, you can find out what their ticker symbol is going to change to. I just happen to forget sometimes. I'm at low 12 for an average holding as it is long. Yeah. I called this before as Meet Kevin's baby, because that's who I heard it from, was Meet Kevin. And I went and read up about the company myself, and they sound very popular. And the fact that they facilitate using their doll houses, their 3D renderings, that they can be used for insurance purposes, for real estate purposes, and that there's just a huge amount of buildings in the world for them to map, and also new constructions that would be put out there. And the entry into this is so small. And I had somebody comment once upon a time. Okay, so Lee's thinking that it's MTTR as well. That's what I remember, but that doesn't mean it's right. So, I mean, like I said, we could easily look it up, and I'm sure as that special meeting, if you're an investor, you can look up, like I said, the special meeting. Well, even if you're not, you can go to the SEC filings and look up to see what it's supposed to be. It's probably also on like Seeking Alpha and other news sources that you have out there. But anyway, so the dollhouse, the 3D renderings that they have, that are stored digitally, that you could go through and you could check out the measurements and the dimensions, and then the augmented reality implications that are also in there. And I'm an iPhone user. The iPhone 13 is rumored to have advanced LiDAR in it that would also help out with sort of that augmented reality aspect, where you could put things around different rooms and stuff to see how they look. That would kind of help that online shopping when it comes to different furniture pieces. There's so many things, that possibilities that are opened by Matterport through their service. I just think that they have incredible opportunity, and that there will be a lot of upside from the prices that we see. That this wouldn't just be, well, I'm going to say SPAC hype, even though we haven't seen large amounts of SPAC hype since prior to February. would be around the time that the 2020 SPAC hype ended into early 2021. But yeah, I think that this is going to be a huge company for us going forward. Intellectual property is going to be huge for them as well. So as long as they can keep their system proprietary and keep competitors out of that market, that's definitely one of those areas where if somebody else comes in and they revolutionize it, that they innovate to go beyond or further or better than what Matterport puts out, then that could be bad news for Matterport. So that would be one of those risks that you have. And if you want to know more about their risks, again, I can't tell you enough how important the SEC filings are, because the company comes out and they tell you about all the risks that they foresee to their own business. And so you can have the ones that you think of, you can have the ones that they think of, you can find ones that other people think of, especially if somebody puts out like a bear report or a bear case on a certain security that you're following. Read those things and, you know, give them full thought and consideration and see if you think that they hold any water. Sometimes it keeps you out of some trades that would have been really bad trades. And sometimes they turn out to be nothing or at least not as substantial as you thought. So you trade anyway. So those are just some things to think of. Yeah, let's check out Torch. I think they're the next one. Angelito, thank you. MTTR for GHVI. All right, and Annalise, crypto, MLB, USDT Binance. I'll check that out in just a moment here. All right, yeah, Torch recovering significantly yesterday. Actually, the fact that we have this engulfing candle happening on the daily chart here for Torch, recovering some of that price after I believe that they did a share offering. Where are we at? Boom, boom, boom. Man, there's a lot of stuff here. Where are we at? All right, I'm not going to waste your time picking through a lot of the news, but I'm pretty sure that they did a share offering, and that ended up dropping the price for them significantly. We see the price fall off, peaked at 10.88 per share. This engulfing candle here. I talk a lot on this about when there is share dilution, oftentimes you get a bounce afterwards, and so catching that bounce is one of the ways that can typically make a pretty safe, fairly safe, at least if there's a bullish trend already and you take a long position, it can make for a fairly safe, like, intraday trade depending on when it happens, or even a swing trade into the next day. Those are definitely things that you can look for, that you can just quickly trade. You're in, you're out, and you made your cash. So where they closed yesterday was the closing price. There it is, 492, and now they're up to 563. So that would be, let me see, $1, so 25%. Yeah, that's up significantly. That's up. What did I say the close was over here? I'm such a forgetful guy. So let's just call that $5, and then they're up 63 cents. So 10%. And then another 2 on top of that. So 12% up. Actually, I guess I can just look at the percentage today. There you go. So 14.63. So almost 15% gain over yesterday's close. That's if you catch it at its current price right now. But it's fairly often that you see that take place, where the price just completely drops because people just sell out of their position, or stop losses trigger and they automatically get sold out. So sold off, traded sideways for a while, and then today you start to see that price action come back in. And we could see this moving average here act as support for us for the day now that we're over it, whereas it would have acted as resistance before. We're way up above the analyst estimates. What was the news today? Not much news today. Converts options in the midst of I guess they meant midst of a 90-day buy trend. Okay, you don't always want insider selling to take place. It could just be that people want to be paid for what they're owed for being employees of the company, but it could also show lack of faith in the company, and so that can cause a drop in the price. Otherwise, we don't really have too much news outside of just a little bit of recovery, and we'll see how their price plays out over time. All right. So let's go over here. Oh my goodness. Just in case you guys weren't here in the pre-market hours, I was asked about EIP 1559. And I talked about the base fee burn. And if you check out watchtheburn.com, so WATCHTHEBURN.com. So watchtheburn.com. You can see how the base fee burn is going on the testnet, the Ropsten testnet for Ethereum. And I have it listed in United States denomination right now, but you can switch it back to ETH. So this just went live on the testnet today. So it's not actual Ether that's being burned. It's just on the testnet. So right now it's sort of meaningless other than testing the stability and seeing that it works as it's intended to work before EIP 1559 goes live on the main net next month. There is another testnet. I don't know how to pronounce it. Goerli, I believe. So Gorelli, I don't know. Testnet that goes live, I believe, in a week or two. That we see it go live there as well. And as long as we have a lot of stability and it performs as intended, then we watch it, EIP 1559, the London hard fork, take place then. So, Angelise, you mentioned MBL. There you go. Movie block, huh? Market cap almost 24 million. Fully diluted market cap 124 million. So I wonder if this was a pre-mined coin. Up almost 7.5% for the day. All right, well, they're back down to about the price that they were prior to the rapid inflation that we had in the prices for cryptocurrencies in general. There we go. So the nice thing that you see after a sell-off like this, if it is something that's going to go up in price again, is that a lot of the risk has come out of it, and this is a really tiny one. They give us a rank, rank number 568 for the cryptocurrencies, and that's by market cap. And then this is against stablecoin for United States dollar here. Go down to the 30-minute, see how it's going. So there's a little bit of a bounce that you see off the bottom, and if you watch every little, like here we have a double bottom resist, double bottom support, and then it does happen to have a little bit of price action after selling off again. And taking a long position is a little bit difficult when you see that you're in the midst of a downtrend. What you're looking for is a reversal to take place. So if we look at that right now, I'm not seeing signs of a reversal. However, what we have over here, we have a decent amount of resist from where we currently sit. We have a little bit of price down to support. Let's see if I can change the scale a little bit so I'm not quite at the bottom of the chart. Yeah, so we have a little bit of room down to support. I don't know if the strength will come back to this. I'm not familiar with this coin, but we don't yet see signs of reversal. What are these prices like over here? So this thing can go down to a half or a quarter of its current value before it really finds a lot of big support that it had before. So what we're looking for is, let me get a diagonal line drawn on here for you. We actually want to watch this price back up over this diagonal line. There might be a little bit of more of a minor one, maybe down this way, if we cut off some of those higher tops that we have. And breaking out of that slope and traveling upward could be a sign that we're starting to reverse the trend and that we're going to see higher prices come back into it. So that's something that I would watch for if I was going to make a trade on this. Right now, trading against that trend without any clear sign of reversal, it's not, I mean, maybe even watching the volume pick up, even though the price is still dropping down, that could show us some bullish divergence that it's about to reverse on us. But those are the things that I would most definitely watch for if I was going to make a trade in this. NASDAQ is up, EVGN long-term view. EVOGEN, there we go. EVOGEN, I was saying it wrong. All right. So a few things. When you see these little, we'll call them skips, these little dashes, if you will, that we're looking for, usually what that's a sign of is that you have low volume to the point where the shares that you have can be illiquid. Now, the nice thing is they mostly happen for this one during those aftermarket and pre-market hours. During the regular trading day, we actually have fully formed candles, which is a good thing. And that could certainly help your liquidity. So when we look at this, there were only 34,000 shares traded during the first half hour of the market, and then moving into the next 4,659. So this is one that if you're going to trade, if you're a low volume trader, you should be all right. You shouldn't have to worry about liquidity issues or anything. But if you're somebody who is a bigger volume trader and you buy like tens of thousands of shares at a time, this is one that you would likely avoid because you're going to get hit with the spread and you're going to end up losing a decent amount of cash for it. So that's something I would just be careful of for anybody who would be, looking into trading something like this. 200,000. So let's look at their daily chart, see what they look like. Beachbody, all right. All right, so we have a decent amount of support. The area of support here, 338 down to about 311, and we're currently trading at about 362. So what would that be? 10, 16-ish% downside from where it currently sits down to there. Down to 328 would be about 10%. So we could do a 10% drop and then hit support. So with it moving back upward, we would hope that eventually it forms into, it looks like we have a slight upward slant if we subtract out this peak that we have here for right now. Almost sideways, but it is slightly moving bullish, and it does look like it is resisting right along. I'll zoom in so we can see it better. Yeah, we're resisting. If you look at those peaks that we have on this 50-day simple moving average that I have up here for you. So when this comes up, it could tag, and it could still tag a little bit lower. And much like what I was saying for the cryptocurrency, for MBL, when we were looking at that one, we want to see signs of a trend reversal when we look at this. And it is nice that we're starting to slope upward. Good. We are still somewhat even across these tops, that we might not be seeing a clear sign of reversal. But that could be on the horizon. Breaking up this way from it would certainly help. So let's put another horizontal line on here. There we go. Just so we can see more clearly across those tops as we go along, across those high points. We want to cross over that. We want to break this 50-day simple moving average that we have in order to see that continue its way upward. So let's take off the moving averages for a moment, and we'll put up the RSI, which is going to show us a little bit. The MACD is not going to be great because this is sort of a consolidation period. We have low volume also happening here. So this could be leading up to a sort of another ramp up in price. And as I zoom in, it looks like we might even be able to make the argument. Let me adjust this a little bit. We might make the argument that maybe we're already seeing a little bit of that change, but I don't know that I like that line as much as I like this one. The RSI is still sitting below 50, so we're still sort of in a bearish position. And really, we need some sort of catalyst to get us back up over that. Analyst estimates, I mean, we can go, between 4 and 5 times this current price. We only have that one analyst estimate on there. It'd be nice to see a few more come in on that. Chairperson on the board. Q1 top line beat, so they had a revenue beat. That's always a good thing. It looks like they also talked about their cash position. So I'm guessing if they're talking about a cash update, that they're not profitable yet. Yeah, right there, earnings per share, a loss of 17 cents, up from 24 cents. So they're making good progress. That's always a good thing. And their sales are actually pretty small. So sort of a small company. And with small companies, this one likely has a small market cap. So it's something that's going to, it can be highly sensitive to manipulation. So that analyst estimate of $15 could be very valid, but this could be something that could also be depressed in price a lot because of the low market cap versus something like Apple that would have like a $2 trillion market cap, for example. It's going to be very hard to move their share price so significantly. So this is probably biopharma. It is biotech. Developing seed traits for improved yield of, okay, abiotic stress tolerant seed. Yeah, so they're going to need results from their studies, and they're going to need market adoption to also come through that. And those are things that are going to drive that price. So when we look at that analyst estimate, this is probably assuming that everything goes well with their company, that the promises hold up over time, and that's what's going to drive the price forward. That would get us towards that $15 price target. Intraday performance, though, we have a really decent buy-side pressure right around $3.34. As far as everything else, it looks like we're pretty well balanced, and it's not very fast moving because we do have low volume. So you're not going to see the level 2 shift around a lot. It's going to go order by order. That we're going to see little tiny movements in that versus something that would move a lot faster. Just for example's sake, we'll check out Sundial. There we go. This is usually a decent volume mover. What's our volume today? 47 million. Yesterday was 231 million. And actually, their level 2 is also sitting pretty even. It's not moving so quickly. What about Torch, since it's at the top of things here? There we go. All right. So it looks like even this one's settling down a little bit, and that makes sense given the timing. We're moving on to 10:30. So we're not going to see the same sort of whippiness that we saw. The RSI on this one, well, we finally dropped out of the overbought territory back down into the bullish territory. I mean, still bullish, just not overbought anymore like it was. But yeah, you can see the level 2 moving just a little bit faster. Those orders are executed for Torchlight, hitting resistance on the sell side somewhere around 559. Lots of buy side support right around 536. And we see it also got FRX changing their ticker to body on Friday. I feel like I missed something. Let me read back through it real quick. FRX. There we go. All right. Well, would you say they are changing their ticker to body on Friday, and I know it's decently shorted? I mean, honestly, if there's a lot of short pressure, I mean, right now we're currently sitting in bullish territory according to the RSI. I'm going to put the moving averages back up here. We don't have 200 days worth of information, so we're not going to see the 200-day on this. Now, about that $10 mark. So if this is a SPAC, and you can see where the low prices are, just right around $10, just below $10. And once that merger happens, all bets are off as far as that sort of quasi minimum that we have right around that $10 mark. So we could see a lot of buying happen right now leading up to that merger, and then we could see a lot of selling as people lock in on any sort of profit that they may have made. If there are a lot of short positions, then wiping out those short positions could be something that, especially if they get margin called or they have to close their short positions, then of course we see a lot of that sell side pressure come off and we see the price increase. We're not going to see a lot for short interest on this one. We do have some analyst estimates, 2 of them, $11 and $14.50. That's not going to tell us anything. All right, so is this Beachbody, Lee? If they're changing over to body? Yeah. So if this is indeed Beachbody, there's a large following for Beachbody, and they're looking to directly compete with Peloton. So I would look to see what Peloton does, to see a little bit more about what Beachbody is going to do. But then you also have to compare where Beachbody gets their money from. I know that they have a subscription service. They have an annual service. I've done a lot of their workout programs myself, and I know that it's very popular among women, and there's a lot of fitness ones that women choose because a lot of my friends do it too. But there's also a lot of like weightlifting and bodybuilding stuff that's also in there as well. That people who are looking to build more mass and like things for guys to get interested in it, and they're also looking into putting out their own versions of equipment to be more direct competitors with Peloton, besides just having the pre-recorded workouts, and they have some real-time ones that they do from time to time. Getting into the workout equipment side of things, and if they can compete with Peloton, Peloton's very popular and has a huge following as well. Wow, look at that. Neat to see those build out over time. We'll see if that does pop up over that one. You know, Beachbody could be something that that could be huge on the publicly traded markets. Yeah, so Lee, you want to compare then the sort of valuation that you have for Beachbody, and you could compare that to how it's currently trading in its back deal that you have here, and see if it's trading under that valuation. Because if it is, then you know that you have room upside for the sort of price that you buy in at. If it's trading above the valuation, then you know that it'll probably drop off significantly. So I would pay attention to how much they're saying that they believe Beachbody to be valued at from this deal, and that could help you determine whether or not that this is a good price. Nice. All right, guys, it's about that 10:30 hour. So if you have anything else that you want me to check out before I go, just go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to close things up for the day. And I have a video that I need to piece together for you about the London Fork 4 EIP 1559, and you know, take a look at that when that comes out. I think it's neat. I think there's a lot of interesting information, and I'm really super excited for Ethereum. I think it's going to pass Bitcoin, and it's going to be huge. And that is the cryptocurrency, and that is that Ethereum itself is the platform for cryptos of the future. That it's going to carry us forward very well between the number of dApps that it has, and how many institutions are in on it, and what it does for decentralized finance, and the tokenomics that surround it. I think are just they're okay right now. I think that they're going to be incredible as we move into Ethereum 2.0. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope they have a great day. Thanks for rocking with me, and we'll see you for the market open tomorrow. Check out that video when it comes out. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.